Hey everyone, how's it going? All right. So lately, there's been a lot of Linux talk about new Linux, and the latest updates for Windows have been brutal. Like I've had two major updates in the past week, and one of them almost wrecked my system. I don't know what's going on with Microsoft and Windows, but they gotta fix this shit ASAP. But I have been learning about Linux over the summer, so I'm trying other things out. I started with SteamOS. I tried Ubuntu here and there, so I've got a little bit of experience with it. But over the summer, because I live in Arizona and it gets really hot out here, I've been focusing on building me a what do you call it, a Steam box, my TV. Oh my god, it's been so helpful. And I've tried multiple versions of it. I tried Steam OS. That worked fine, except for one major flaw. And that flaw is that it prioritizes graphics over controls. The reason why it does that is because on the Steam Deck, the controls are integrated to the motherboard. So it's not a problem there. They're straight to the CPU. But when you use an external controller, for example, uh, it will give your prioritize over frame rate over that. You'll have laggy controls up the ass. It'll run 60 frames per second, but the controls will not be responsive. So that's the problem with SteamOS. There's another version called Bazzite, which we'll be getting to today. But first, we're going to talk about a lightweight Linux. So, just for context, eh, we're going to install Linux on this bad boy. Yeah, it's an HP Stream from 2022. I believe I got it in 2023, actually. It was a gift from my brother. So we're going to install it on this. This is a Celeron, I think 4020. It's a Celeron. 4 cores, 4 threads, not very fast. I upgraded the RAM to 18 gigs, which is really easy to do. You know, it's dirt cheap too, so you do it yourself, no problem. But we're going to run it on this first. So what Linux are we going to try? Well, we are going to try So we're going to try Linux Mint. And we're going to try, there's different versions of this. We hit download. Now, Cinnamon is the primary version, but we're running this on a Celeron. So we're going to go with XFCE. This one is just light, simple, efficient, so on and so forth. And we're going to run that on this laptop, okay? It runs fine. I have no issues with it. Now, it's as simple as, of course, you download it. And you have to go to, you don't want to turn it. You just, let's see. You're going to hear to one of the different websites you got in there. We're going for the USA. You live in the US. You hit save. It'll download. It's not that big of a download, actually. I'll download it real quick just to show. Yeah, only 2.8 gigs. We're not going to sit to the whole thing because I already got it in here. And then most people say to use Rufus, which I do have. Is it still here? Because I know I have it. I think I may have moved it to a different location. Let me look it up real quick. Rufus. No, I must have moved it. Might be here. There it is. So everyone tells you to use Rufus for this, and Rufus is fine. Nothing wrong with it. But you see, it looks a little complicated. There's a better option. Balena Etcher. Get this. It's free. It's easy to use. What you do is you find your file. And I already had it saved in here. So let me go to Linux Mint. Open. You select your target. It'll show whatever flashes you have. I got one right here. I'm not going to install it on this, but I'll just show you. You do it right here. You select that, and you hit flash, and that's it. It flashes it. Takes 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how big the file is. Go make a sandwich. Go do something else. Come back. It should be ready to go. So use that instead. I've already got it installed onto this laptop just to show you how it works. I'm just showing you the way I did it so that it's real easy. Oh, yeah. Now, of course, the other one you can download, of course, is Bazite. We're going to be using that as well today. Now, Bazite is pretty good. We're going to try it on a really powerful laptop. The only problem is that laptop is a little out of date. But let's show you that it works. So you pick which kind of hardware you want to use. Either a PC, handheld, there's a bunch of handhelds on here, laptops, stuff like that. So let's say you want to use a desktop for this. Okay, so use that. Now you can use AMD, NVIDIA, or Intel. You can use the older ones if you want to, if they'll show up. So let's just say you want to go NVIDIA. Okay, you got that. Now, you got two versions here. You got KDE, which basically makes it look like a traditional Windows environment, including SteamOS, which includes SteamOS with it. Or you use Genome, which is more like a Mac OS version. And then, of course, you could even choose to put Steam Gaming Mode, which is basically Steam's game mode, just runs directly off of the system. It does not run through the OS at all. It runs on its own OS. So you want to include that, you can turn into basically your own Steam Deck. Yeah, you can do it through this. This is better than SteamOS, because SteamOS right now, because the issue I mentioned, it's still a bit iffy. Hopefully they fix it somewhere in the near future. But one, you can run this, and you can run SteamOS through it, no problem, it'll run okay. I have a version that does not have that, so we're not going to be doing that. And then we'll just say we'll use Genome, but that's the one I wanted to use. You hit save, you download, it's going to be that right there. I already downloaded, I already have it installed onto the system. Same thing, just go through the Balena Etcher, and it's simple. It takes 10, 15 minutes to install it onto this, because how big the file is. Also depends how big your flash drive is, how fast it is. That goes to the whole thing. So that's that. And then once you install it, the install is real cheap, real simple. If you want to know how to install it easily, watch Jason Sense, type in Jason Sense Linux, and he'll show you how to install it himself. It is real easy to install. It is not hard at all. You just got to remember that you have to go through your BIOS, set your boot drive, and that's it. And once that's set, you're good to go. All right, so let's go ahead and shut this down. So first things first, we're going to boot this up off of the first laptop. This is the HP Stream. And I'm going to get it up here so you see it working. Yeah, the first time I got this running, it ran a little slow until they realized, oh, wait, I had to update the drivers and all that. Once everything's updated, which takes really, really fast. I think it took no longer than an hour to update everything on this thing, and that was it. Like Windows, it would take a whole fucking day. This? No, it is real simple. Yeah. Whoops, wrong mouse. We're going to do that. So it's up here. Okay. All right, so we are here. This is Linux, Linux Mint. Move that over there. So that's another way. And I made it a little bit bigger because I'm using this for different reasons. Let me go ahead and drop the resolution a little bit here. Oh, no, that's Software Manager. No, we're not doing that now. I got to go to, where is my settings? Display. And I'm going to drop this down to 720p because, again, it's all around. This runs a little bit better. Keep this, yes. See, now the toolbar on the bottom is kind of big. I set it up that way. You can keep it small if you want to do that. I did it bigger because it's on a 14-inch screen, so it's a little bit better. So you got all kinds of stuff you could do in here. You got Firefox, which installs automatically. It'll be in here. And then, of course, you can watch your YouTube and stuff like that. So if it goes, let's say, J's. since Linux. And he goes over how to use Linux. Now, this is him using Bazzite, of course, but we'll show it off.
As you can see, it's working. It's working flawlessly. Not because we needed new cables and stuff, but because we switched to Linux. So welcome to the very first Linux video I'm ever going to have made on this channel. I say ever going to have made because I might do some follow-ups to us trying out this box here that we built. But in all of the time that I have been doing YouTube, every of the time since August 26, 2012, I have never touched a Linux topic in my life. Why? Because you guys scare the shit out of me because you guys are some opinionated mother... Professional monitor setup with the ViewSonic VP.
Yeah, YouTube works just fine. And of course, you can do all your office work. So you have LibreOffice. Now, this is basically Microsoft Office for Linux, and it's free. This is basically Microsoft Word. You can type in your stuff. You can save the file. Now, you can save it any kind of file you want. If you go down here, and you can see you got all these different documents you can save. You can save it's a text file, save it's a doc, docx, all that stuff. Word 2007, all stuff. So you can save it as any kind of file you want, and yes, it will transfer over to Windows if you need to use it on a Windows computer. So you got a reason to use it right there. You use it for that. Don't save, we're not saving that. This is basically PowerPoint, Draw, Calculus. This is basically Excel. So you got Excel. You can do your Excel stuff for right, no problem. And yes, it'll save as an Excel document. And then, of course, if we go to, let's say, we got the LibreOffice suite. This basically allows you to download more stuff if you can do it. It's up to you. Now, when it comes to, let's say, we could do your parents stuff like that. We could change this up a little bit. So you can change basically how you want this to look. If it didn't freeze up like that. Hang on a second. Gotta give it a second to load. So if you want, you can change how you want your appearance to look. This is all dark. I prefer something like aqua. Go ahead. There we go. That's the one I wanted. You change your icons, look at what you want. You change your fonts, stuff like that. Your other settings. There you go. And then, of course, for your desktop, let's say for your wallpapers, you got a lot of wallpapers installed already on this thing. Let's say we want this. A little nice. It's a little gaming stuff here if you want to do that. Now you can do all kinds of cool stuff like that. So yeah, you get some cool stuff here. It'll look more like Windows. There you go. And there's a lot here to work with. So let's see, we go with this one. This is actually kind of cool. So there you go. So you can make it look really nice. It's really not all that bad. Okay, and for a lightweight system, I charged this thing once. I think last week. It's only 66% right now. And I've used it for like 3 hours. And it's down to that. So, yeah, battery usage is really good with this. And then, of course, if you go here, it tells you when you're up to date on something. You click on this, it basically lets you know what else you can do on the system. It's not going to say anything. Oh, here we go. Run system check, stuff like that. You can do that manually if you wish to do so. It'll probably remind you from time to time. So you can do all kinds of cool stuff here. It's letting you know like a new version of Linux is available. We're not going to download that. You get the system restore, things like that. All the fun stuff. So you can do all that, no problem. You can do customization. You can customize the clock, the calendar, all that. So you can do a lot with this. Now, in terms of gaming, it's a Celeron, so you're not going to do that much. But it's got its own games in here. So let's say we go to Software Manager. And here you can download your software. Now, you can go on Firefox and all other software, but this Mint is a bit more locked down. You can still find ways around it, but it's still locked down. If you go to games here, you got some games here to play. You got emulators, you got stuff like that. Then you got DOSBox. You got Burger Spaces. Basically, I think it's Burger Time. You could do that. There's Tux Math. There's Stella. There's Super Tux. All kinds of stuff. And usually stuff that's on here is stuff that'll actually run on this. So you don't have to worry too much about downloading something that's not going to run. You got arcade games, Next, all kinds of stuff like that. Will Nexus run on this? Oh, it's going to run very low. We're not going to bother with that. But, so you want to run Minecraft? Well, you can probably install Minecraft on here if you want to do so, but they got their own version for free. And you can play online if you want with your friends, I believe. There's no cost for that. Yeah, it's not perfect, but hey, you know, it works. Yeah, it's not perfect, but hey, you know what? You want to play some budget Minecraft? There you go. You can do that. As far as I know, it's the exact same game. There's no sprint option for some reason. And I checked, that's not in the keys either. There's sneak, there's jump, there's drop inventory, stuff like that. There's, oh, fast? It's fast, Jay. I guess probably just does that for this, I guess, or something like that. But yeah, so you got options for Linux. So you can goof around and have some fun with the stuff. And you can do a lot more than that. Now, this is a lightweight version of Linux. Okay, this is really light. Okay, but if you want something for a small laptop, play some basic stuff, this will get your job done. So if you want to do this for office work, Mint is something I would recommend right now. Again, if you have like an HP Stream like this one, the older version of it, XFCE. Mint, get that version. It's lightweight. It does incredibly good on battery life. I had this thing, so I only sleep like 3 hours on battery life. I'm done 65%. So that just shows you like how reliable this actually is. Okay. So right there, you got options for Linux. So if you can't stand Windows, especially on low grade laptops like this one, Linux is a great option. So I'd say give it a shot if you want to try that out. Again, it's free. All you got to do is install it, and you can try a bunch of stuff on there for free. It's all community-based as far as I know. There's no major companies involved, so you don't have to worry about your database and stuff like that. It also forces security on you, so you have to put a password in, a username, all that stuff to make sure your system is protected. So there you go. It's Linux running on a low-power system. No problem there. So let me go ahead and shut this down. Do that. All right, well, now let's get serious. So let's say you want to turn your gaming laptop into a Linux system. Bazlite is a way to go with that, but I'm going to show you the compatibility you have with that. Just so we're clear. And we're going to do that on this bad boy. You don't know what this is. This is an HP ZBook 17G6 from 2019. This thing is fucking nuts. Okay? It's also NVIDIA. Okay? Now, to be clear, AMD is more preferred for Linux because it's more open source. NVIDIA, not so much. But you can still do some stuff with NVIDIA. Okay? So we're going to go ahead. We're going to... Yeah, this thing is beefy. I might have to redo the paste on this. This is that old. I haven't had a chance to do that. I'll probably do that maybe in a couple weeks soon. So, let's go ahead and get this thing running. Oh. You guys are in for a treat with this one. And I'm not editing any of this. You're seeing this real time. So there's no trickery here. There's no BS. You're seeing this in real time so that way you can see how this works normally. Now, while this system is powerful, it won't do 2 screens at once. Because it's running on a Intel 9850H. So it's a 6-core, 12-thread CPU. It's reasonably powerful, but again, this is back before all the other stuff. So my password in. Okay, so can I set this up a different way? No, I can't. Okay. All right, so this is Bazzite. This is the Genome version, which is more like a Mac OS. So if you go down here, you got your different apps, you got your Steam and all of that. This is going to look laggy because it's run 2 images at once, and this is not meant for that because you need a keyboard for some of the stuff. But you can also download the Steam OS version, which I recommend if you're going to turn it into just basically a Steam Deck if you want to do that. But if you want to run an OS, there's one version you can run. I recommend KDE because it's a bit more lightweight and you can get a bit more out of it. This is a bit more graphic intensive. But as you can see, it works just fine. You can run your Steam stuff and all that in here, so it's no big deal. Now, we are going to run a set of games here to show you how this actually works. Now, to be fair, this is... Oh, it's installing Crysis 2. You know what? Hang on. We're not gonna run that because it's not gonna run anyway. It's gonna run to the wrong file. So we're gonna uninstall that. Yes, it will run Crysis. Don't worry about that. You have to install it to the C drive if you want it to work. We have to size uninstall. Okay, so let's try a few things here real quick. Close this, get more power out of it. So I installed some games here to try out. We're going to try a number of them. There's controller support, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, the best thing about this, you don't have to install controller drivers. They're already installed. They're in the OS itself. So in other words, it's even better. So let's try some games out. Let me go. All right, so let me get some sound. Let's try Dirt. Now, this is running an NVIDIA Quattro RTX 5000. So it will game, just not the best. So if it's running a little sluggish, that's the GPU doing that. And I got the performance stats up top there. I don't know if you can see that properly.
Welcome back, Ace. What's that, a throwdown burning a hole in your pocket?
All right, so...
Your to-do list.
Here we go. The Dirt 5, when you set it up right, it runs great. Now, the best part about SteamOS, or at least Linux, it already has VSync on through its OS, which means there's no screen tearing at all. When you run SteamOS, you can turn tearing on if you wish to do so, but you don't need to because, again, it's not eating up power like Windows does. It's also better, like, if you run games on this, turn VSync off in the games because you don't even need it. I see we're running a pretty good frame rate. As you can see, it's maxing the GPU out because, again, this is a Quadro, so it's going to push it for everything it has. That's just the way it works. Maybe I need to redo the thermal paste on it. You see, we're running pretty good. There you go. That runs pretty good. Now, I'm running this 1080p 60 basically, but of course the frame rate's unlocked, so it's going to go, wherever it wants to go. See, we're getting good frame rates in the menus at least. All right, so we did that. All right, so let's try something else. Let's try Cyberpunk. This runs iffy. Because, again, we have ray tracing, but the problem is it has DLSS. It's got DLSS 1, as in 1.0. So, Cyberpunk won't run as good, but if you use a later system, it should run fine. So let's turn that on. Now, again, I'm running a developer graphics card, which is why it's running the way it is. Go to settings here. Graphics. It's on custom. Right now we're running DLSS, but it's running the older version of DLSS, Ultra Performance. I think we're running on high settings. So it's fine running 1080p. VSync off. I locked the frame rate to 60, so we can get that at least out of it. Try that also.
Hey everyone, feels great to have you back. So then, did you all hear about that Arasaka aircraft carrier docked in Night City?
music off. They got copyrights for that stuff. Now, it's not running perfect. We're just getting a few frame dips here and there. Because again, we're running on an older system. So, and also we're running on a developer GPU, which is not designed for gaming.
What else is new?
If you run this on a gaming GPU, you should run fine.
Suspect's vehicle has been located. Details have been sent.
So yeah, it runs okay.
All units. Suspect has evaded.
Again, Cyberpunk is still hard to get running properly sometimes because of how much stuff is in it. Like, as you can see right here, you see how big this city is in the area? Like, yeah, this is not... There's going to be quite a bit to run this properly. Right there. It glitched the damn game. But you see what I mean. But you should run okay on another system, so you should be okay with that. All right, what's my message here? Oh, it's just something else. Okay, never mind. All right, so let's try a shooter. Let's try Doom Eternal. Now, I'm running Genome, obviously, which is more graphically intensive. Let's just show you how that works. I want to use this. Oh, there we go. It skipped it like I wanted to. Even though I hate Doom Eternal, it does work. In fact, they've actually been trying to like fix it lately, which is actually good. Now, if we go through our graphics here, full screen, 1080p, triple buffering. So far, we're pretty good. DLSS is on. Put it on balanced, I guess. Leave it on. Ultra Nightmare on everything. This is maxed out. Now, this laptop ran Doom Eternal at launch 30% faster than it's supposed to. So the game was really unplayable. I had to wait a few months for a patch to come out on this thing. So that shows you how powerful this thing actually is when it's used properly.
Please remain calm. You may notice a slight.
The Super Gornest location is nearby. This is the site where the invasion began, the oldest and most corrupted location on the planet. The Ark fought hard, but they were eventually driven out by the demons.
there you go. Runs fine. Let's try a fighting game. Killer Instinct. This game crashed this time I played it. After one fight, but let's see how it runs good now. This is still a great fighting game, but if you haven't tried it, I recommend it. It's really easy to pick up and play. You can learn it over time. Or you can say fuck it and just have fun.
Fight on! Supreme victory!
Runs good to me.
Fight on!
Target spotted. This should be quick.
Ready! Fight! Brutal combo! Awesome combo! Extreme combo! Lockout! Awesome combo! Lockout! Hyper combo! Lockout! Awesome combo! Blaster combo! Ready! Fight! Extreme combo! Extreme! Extreme combo! Triple combo! Ultra combo!
And it crashed. Well, you can always do something to make it run a little better. So you can go here, you go to Go to properties because it runs on Proton. So if you want to make it run a little bit better, properties comes up. Well, if you go to properties, you could change the Proton layer and have it run through that if you wish to do so. It's an option. Let's try something else. Let's try a simulator. Let's try BeamNG Drive. Let's go do Vulkan shaders. Some of these take a while. This takes a while, so we're not going to do that. If you do the shaders ahead of time, it'll run a little bit better. I tried with the Vulkan plugin and it ran a little sluggish. Let's try it without it. See, it's a little on the slow side. This is running on a developer GPU, so. Come on. This is a simulator as it gets, by the way. It doesn't get any more simulation than BeamNG Drive. See, it takes a little while to load up on this thing. It's loading up a little faster, though, than it did previously. If you have a more powerful system, it'll run better. What it is, the audio cut out. So we have that. Yes. Audio. Okay. Off. Let's pick another vehicle. Vehicles. What do they got here? Oh, we can go nuts. There we go. Let's try a different vehicle. Load up. Again, if you have a gaming GPU, this should run a lot better. But I'd still recommend AMD, because AMD is a bit more open source. As you can see, NVIDIA works okay. Let's try a different vehicle. I actually got a Batmobile in here. Yeah, you can have your sim games a little bit, depending on the power you have. Yeah, that runs okay. No big deal there. Let's try a platformer. Let's try Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom. You haven't tried this, by the way? I recommend it. This is a lot of fun, this game. It's hard, but it's fun. Yeah, you know, you can have some fun with this. go in Mario's house. So yeah, I mean, you got a lot running. So yeah, I mean, you can see you can get a lot running if you know what you're doing. Now, it wasn't perfect, obviously, but you got some issues to go with. Now, again, I'm running this on an NVIDIA GPU. So it's not going to be as good as an AMD GPU, because AMD runs better on Linux than NVIDIA. You just saw NVIDIA performance. It was okay, to be fair. But you just saw some games work, some games don't. Some games have options in them that don't exist yet. So your mileage may vary. But, again, you can get stuff running. Now, like I said earlier, this is basically like Genome. It's kind of like Mac OS version of this, which is a bit more graphic intensive. But if you get the KDE version, it's a bit more lightweight. So you can actually do all that kind of stuff. You got utilities here you can update. You can do all kinds of stuff like that. You got utilities here you can use for Proton. So Proton is what this actually runs on to get everything running properly. You have your settings here. You got plenty of those to work with. Again, you can do this any way you want. You can even got night light mode. You can game at night if you want to do that. Probably you can go up here. You can turn that on. Here it is. It's not activating right now for reasons. You can change the performance mode. Well, whenever it tries to update. But anyway, you can see how Linux is actually runs pretty good. Now, there's a lot of different kinds of versions of Linux out there. Ubuntu is the most common version. So if you want to get that and practice with that, go ahead if you want to do that. If you want to just run a gaming system, get Bazzite. It runs great. It's got no issues with it, or very few issues with it. It's safe. To fuck this up, you really have to try. So you can have all the fun you want. And again, you can try different versions of it out. And like I said, you can also download the version that has SteamOS built inside of it, so you can actually run like a game console if you want to do that. So you got options here. So if you're sick of Windows, like a lot of people are right now, you can go to Linux. Just do yourself a favor. Keep versions of Windows around for other things, because I still run Windows on my main PC because I have to. Because I got other stuff I need to run on it. This thing does have limitations. For example, the audio will not go through the HDMI to my capture card. Remember that going into Linux, because your capture card might not pick up the audio, or Linux might not recognize the audio input on your capture card. So to run this, I'm running an HDMI cable, and I'm running this through my audio interface to get the audio. Which this actually runs, but on a Steam box, it does not. I don't know why. But that's one of the downsides about Linux. Not everything works yet. Okay, they're still working on it. Again, it's all community-based, so you're going to have to wait for updates on that. Hopefully, we get updates for that soon, because that way I can hook up my Steam box to this thing and show you how that works. Because even the headphone jack on that does not work very well with my audio interface. It just comes out as static. So that's basically it. So thank you for watching. Hopefully this gives you an update on how to use Linux a bit better. Again, it's easy to set up these two different ISOs. One's for lightweight, one's for heavyweight. So you can play around. And again, both of these are free. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to sign up for nothing. Just download it, set up your profile. That's it. You're done. And then you can start going to town, start playing your games you want to play. And that's it. So hopefully this helps clear up some confusion about Linux. Hope it gives you second thoughts about Linux. And hope you give it a shot. Because you know what? Linux, it's come a long way since, like 10 years ago. I tried Linux 10 years ago. It was not fun. Nowadays, it's getting to be fun. It's getting to be good. And like I said, you can do all your Windows stuff on there. No problem. So, that's that. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Take care.